Hi, welcome to the Pigskin Postgame Wrap for Week 7. I'm Joe Cortez, joined as always by Jim Silva, James Burns, and Ron Agostini. Well, not always.
Most of the time.
Most of the time,
Most of the
yeah.
time.
Some of you guys weren't here last week.
We got 4 tonight.
We were at 4 games tonight, and the league races are really starting to come into clear focus. Ron, you were over at Don Lanphier Stadium.
At Grigori High.
At Grigori High School for Modesto versus Grigori. And Modesto's sitting pretty now.
Good game tonight at Grigori. It was Grigori's homecoming. They came out ready to play. They took the lead 3 separate times against Modesto, but Modesto fought back, won the game 31-27. That puts Modesto in the catbird seat in the MMC. They're the only unbeaten team. They're 3-0. 3 games left in the race. They must beat Enox, Bayer, and Grace Davis. But Panthers looking good now.
They should beat Enox. Should beat Davis.
That Bayer one's a big one.
Bayer's the big one.
The Bayer
That's the big one.
would be the important, the big game for them.
You got to stop Jay Green.
They have to stop Jay Green.
Hey, you were at a wild one over at Modesto Christian.
Right, Modesto Christian wins in overtime.
I heard the cheering from Grigori tonight.
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
It was a wild
Yes.
finish, wild game. Houston goes for 2 after scoring a touchdown in overtime. Fails to get the 2-pointer, so Modesto Christian holds on, and the TVL is as crazy as you can.
Well, you know
imagine,
what?
really.
We did a feature story on Justice Futch a few weeks back, and he was talking about all the contenders in the wide open TVL, and which team did he forget to mention?
He forgot to mention Modesto Christian.
And we reminded him, and he was embarrassed about it. But Modesto Christian has been laying in the weeds.
Yeah,
a lot of people have overlooked them because of that tough preseason stretch.
Right. Well, and they only have 19 guys on their roster, so that makes it's kind of.
Is it 19? You said you counted 18. You tweeted
I saw
out 18.
dressed, but there's 19 on the roster, including 3 sophomores.
How many of those 19 play?
A young team. It's hard to tell exactly, but
not
all of them.
So how does a team with 18 players, 19 players compete?
Big
beat
plays.
A team like Houston.
They have big play players, and big play players.
Chris Brown.
Yeah.
Was that your first time seeing Chris Brown?
Yeah, he's really good, and I can't believe he's only a junior, so he's going to have a great senior season. But yeah, big plays, and I talked to Renfrank, Houston coach, after the game, and he said, this is not your usual TVL grinded out team. This is an explosive team, and that's what they do, is they made big plays all night, and when they need to make a big play, Chris Brown made a big play in overtime. It was 3rd and goal from the 10, and it was like, they might not even score.
Hey, you got some great video of Chris Brown's making a
check out
wild,
that video. It's a reverse field on a little screen, and went the other way, and reverse field. So he's a good player, and they're full of big play players, and their lines are solid. So
So in the TVL, we've got Ripon and Modesto Christian sitting at 2-0,
and they play next week.
Who wants that one?
Another great one.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Hey, I've yet to see Modesto Christian. I want to see this in action.
Fun to watch.
I was in Ripon tonight. Ripon Christian versus Agostini in a big Southern League matchup. Agostini, it wasn't pretty. He had 9 yards in the first half. Coach Russell McWilliams likened it to a team that doesn't have its best, or to a pitcher that doesn't have its best stuff. You just sort of, grind your way through it, and they did. They were able to hold off Ripon Christian, and most important, they're 7-0, 4-0 in the Southern League. Orastimba, Agostini's arch rival, wins tonight. The Warriors are 7-0.
Here we come.
It's looking like we might get that 9-0 versus 9-0 for the Chief.
For the Chief
in Week 10.
I heard the train scared you tonight.
It did. They've got that train whistle at Ripon Christian's new stadium, which is just a gem, by the way. It's just fantastic. And as I was walking up during the JV game, Ripon Christian scored a touchdown, and they sounded the train whistle, and it just scared the bejabbers out of me.
That happened to me at a game when they shot a cannon, or something.
You're not ready for that.
Yeah.
Hey, so we've got a great race shaping up for the rushing title, the Stanislaus District rushing title. 3 guys entered the night with over 1,000 yards, one of which was Agostini's Brandon LeBry.
Right. He only had 44 yards tonight.
Oh.
So that's
gonna hurt.
That hurts him in the rushing race. we also had the kid from Stone Ridge Christian. We don't have stats for him. Who was the other one? Jay Green.
Jay Green, who was off tonight.
Who, you're right, who had the bye.
Who was idle.
One player who was off the pace was Justin Rice. He got back on pace tonight, didn't he? With 280 yards.
Yeah, he vaulted himself back into contention possibly. He went off for 280 yards, as Joe mentioned, on like 25, 26 carries. Had 3 of the 4 touchdowns for Central Catholic. Central Catholic rolled big time over Manteca, 28-6. Wow. I mean, it was a statement game through and through. I mean, this was the game that they had circled. But as much as Justin Rice was the player of the game, I thought the difference was the defense. Central Catholic's defense. They played big and physical and strong. They got after it. They played a full 4 quarters, and they were motivated. I mean, I talked to a couple players, and they said that they felt like they needed for that glut of championships that they have, the state titles, the Sac Joaquin section titles. They felt like they needed a statement win over a VOL traditional power to really cement their place in the VOL, to show that they belong. So they had circled this game. They wanted to prove it. I mean, they felt like they squeaked out a win last year, and they wanted to come back with a statement win and prove, hey, we belong in the VOL, and they did it tonight.
They got another circled game, though, right?
Yeah, we talk about 9-0 versus 9-0 in the Southern League. It's a possibility in the Valley Oak League. Oakdale wins tonight. Oakdale should be undefeated when it plays Manteca in Week 9. If Oakdale can get past Manteca, it looks like it could be 9-0 versus 9-0.
Oakdale has a tough closing act, but I really feel like after tonight's performance and seeing Oakdale now and seeing Manteca that Oakdale and Central Catholic are really on a collision course for that Week 10 game. It's going to be one of those explosive matchups that's going to end the regular season and really kick off the postseason on a high note.
That's the way the Valley Oak League usually finishes. That big game at the end.
Yeah, and we're actually blessed this year that it looks like we might have something on the line in the final week in 4 leagues, for our area. That's good. Pretty amazing.
So it was a pretty exciting Week 7 all around. I think we all got some really nice games, and it's going to be a fast finish. Hey, that's it for the Pigskin postgame wrap for Week 7. Be sure to check us out on modbee.com, and we will see you back here next week.